This episode includes discussion of depression, anxiety, and mental health in sport. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Extra Cover, the cricket mental health podcast, which interviews professional cricketers around the circuit about how they prevent and deal with hardships within the game. This podcast is brought to you by Not Out Mental Health, a brand which helps raise money and bring awareness to mental health charities within cricket. The podcast is also sponsored by CBM Cricket, who produce a great range of cricket equipment and bats. Extra Cover stands for the mental shield and extra support you turn to when going through hardships. In the opening episode of this 6-episode series, we are interviewing Graham Clark. Graham has built a strong career across all formats with over 3,500 first-class runs and more than 3,600 T20 runs at a strike rate above 140. This makes him one of the most dangerous white ball openers in county cricket. However, behind the scenes, there's another side to the game. In this episode, we are talking about depression and anxiety and how even at the highest level, players are still navigating mental health challenges alongside their careers.
So Graham, hi. Thank you for your time today.
No problem. Thank you for coming up.
No, of
All
course.
this way.
No, of course. Very much looking forward to having a conversation with you. How have you been? How's winter going?
Yeah,
so
it's started now for us. We had a team bonding session yesterday in Yorkshire with the 3 Pig Challenge,
Okay.
which was tough. I think it's very much a summer activity that we did it in the cold, the dark, and with a lot of ice. But we got there, and hopefully we've made some stronger bonds, which will help us next season.
100%. Yeah. And how quick did you do it in?
We did it in 11 hours, which probably wasn't the quickest time ever, but
Yeah.
it's probably take an hour or two off because of the ice and a few stragglers behind. But it was good. It was a good challenge, and like I said, the views at the top were stunning.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a good team bonding experience early doors. So obviously you've been at the club for a while now, having been a product of the Durham Academy. How has that kind of built your identity, and what does Durham as a club mean to you?
Durham as a club for me probably now means everything. I joined here when I was 16-year-old, and it was by pure luck as well. I can remember now our academy director at the time, John Windows, came to watch a game when I was playing for Cumbria, and he'd actually come to watch Liam Livingston, who we all know how he went to do since. And luckily in that game I scored a few runs, and he asked me to come play for the academy, and things went quite well from there, and haven't looked back since. But since I've started playing for Durham, I've made a home here now, my best friends live here, I met my wife here, so this now club is just part of my life, and something I hope continues for a good while to come.
Of course, but obviously that hasn't come without its setbacks at times. Would you like to guide that? And
yeah, so it's obviously every young cricketer's dream is to get his first contract, make your debut, play well, and sort of just progress through the ranks. And I guess I sort of started to do that when I was 23, 24, and I thought I was making real strides in the game. And then I got to about 26, 27, and I kind of just stalled a little bit. Wasn't performing as well as I would have liked to. And we had a new coach come in, and I probably didn't start as well as I should have when he came in, and kind of fell out of favour a little bit. And then I found myself out of the team, especially the 4-day team, for about 4 or 5 years. I think I played maybe 3 times in 5 years, which was tough. You're sort of questioning your role in the team, your role in the squad, and if there's a future for you in the game. You're playing a lot of second team cricket with young players, and you're kind of not where you want to be, which was tough. But it was one of those things where you can either give up, and I considered giving up quite a lot, to be honest, because I just didn't see a way out, or you can sort of grit your teeth and get your head down, and hopefully you can see a light at the end of the tunnel and come out the other side and start making progress again.
Yeah, of course, and I can imagine that being up here on your own was challenging at times. Being obviously in a professional environment where you feel like you don't have the full support of your coach, definitely comes with its challenges.
There was a lot of challenges, to be fair. I had a lot of problems with sort of mental health when I was younger. I kind of noticed it when I was probably around 21, 22, sort of a bit of social anxiety and whatnot. And then you kind of put that to the back of your mind. It was not really spoken about much. And then cricket was going okay, so it was never really a big issue. And then when things started going wrong for me, I kind of felt a little bit isolated up here. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, was working away a lot. And my friends had kind of grown up and had started having their own families. So I was kind of out of the team. I was at home alone a lot. And things can sort of spiral there. I was stewing on what I was doing. I wasn't performing well, and I sort of beat myself up and had no escape from cricket. I had no escape from my reality. And I found myself sinking into some pretty low places, which was a tough part of my life.
And when you're in those places, obviously a couple of years back there wasn't the awareness there is nowadays with mental health. Did you feel like there was anywhere that you could turn for support during these times?
I always felt like there was a place to turn, but I almost didn't want to admit to myself that I was struggling. I think once you ask for help, you're almost admitting that you are in a bad place. And even though I knew I was, because I would be alone at home thinking of some pretty bad things, but I still never wanted to go and reach out, because then it became real. I thought you kind of always hope that it's just a passing phase and things will get better. And things do get better when you get the help, but they would never have got better if I didn't go and seek some help. And it just almost takes a moment there where you do get that, I need to change something here. And luckily I sparked up a conversation with someone who then got the process started for me, and I got the help that I needed to start getting my life back on track.
Did that moment of clarity come to you, or to reach out to help, or did they approach you and notice signs? How did that come about?
It's one of those things now when you look back on it, it was almost like one of those meant to be moments. I had obviously been struggling for probably 2-3 years, and I'd been battling this kind of thing alone. And we got an ex-cricketer called Graham Fowler, who came in as a sort of a batting counsellor, a bit of an advisor, but he's been big on his mental health. He spoke about his struggles in the past, and he wanted to be a big advocate of encouraging people to talk. And he was around the group for sort of 5-6 weeks, and I would start a few conversations here and there, asking him about his career, asking him about his playing days and what he's up to now. And it all kind of led to one moment where one morning he came into me and just said, "Is everything okay?" And it's such a simple question that I kind of broke down to him and said, "No, I'm really struggling. I've been battling with this and this for years now." And he said, "Right, like, it was almost like, great, you've addressed it. Let's get this sorted." And I reckon within 24 hours I'd seen a doctor. And then the PCA were amazing with me. They helped me, and probably 4 or 5 days later I'd started seeing a psychologist, and that process for me to get better started. It was a long one. I mean, it's one of those things where you think, I hope it's going to be a quick fix, but it almost gets worse before it gets better. You've got to start speaking about all your troubles and your worries and your problems that you've had. But just him being at the club was kind of that person I knew I could confide in. Knowing that he'd been through struggles himself, probably even worse than what I had. Knowing that he could guide me and help me get to the point where I am now, which is happy and healthy.
Definitely. I'm really pleased that you obviously had that moment and the clarity that you were able to look within and be like, you know what, it is safe to ask for help and things are going to get better. Because that must have been really tough for you, especially as, you know, I feel like there is a stigma around men in sport, you know, that hyper masculinity, and to be able to be, you know, it is a really brave thing as a male role model. Especially for young boys to be like, you know what, we do feel anxious and it is okay to ask for help.
Yeah, exactly. And I look back at it now and I can almost see a timeline of when things started to go wrong, and it was almost like a little bit of success, a little bit of happiness that then almost led to a big downfall. There was always a saying which I believed in, which was something like, the brighter the light shines, the darker the shadow it casts. And that was how I felt. I can remember it was back in probably about 2014 now. I got my first contract. And I had probably the best weekend I've had in cricket. I was down in the MCC Young Cricketers, and I was playing for a cricket club called Hampstead there. We just won the league on the Saturday. That day we won the league, I got a phone call saying I'm getting my first contract up here with Durham.
Yeah.
And the next day my village club side from Cumbria were playing in the village cup final at Lords, just down the road.
Wow. Yeah.
And they won that, and my dad got man of the match. And I remember thinking, like, this is the best weekend ever in cricket. And a few weeks later I flew out to Perth to have a winter playing.
Yeah.
And it was a disaster. I had an absolute stinker. I couldn't score a run. And I found myself sort of really isolating myself from a group because I started judging myself on how I think they would judge me, and I was supposed to be this professional cricketer coming out to a club to do well, and I couldn't score a run, and I thought everyone was thinking this guy's rubbish. And my social anxiety then went through the roof. I didn't want to go to training. I couldn't sort of interact with the group. I'd play a game on a Saturday, then just go straight back to my accommodation and sort of isolate myself from everyone. And that was kind of the first moment when I realised that I was in a bit of a tricky place. Because when I was younger, I was always kind of honest and open. I was kind of not the centre of attention, but I'd like to be up and about, be quite socially involved with people. And this was the first time I found myself not wanting to be around people at all, on the other side of the world. Luckily at that time I was staying with my auntie and uncle, who were brilliant for me. They did help me, because if I wasn't with them, I think I'd have probably flew home. And then that would have again probably led to me
knocked your confidence.
Massively. And I stuck it out, and I came home, and things, when I got back, things got better for a while again. And you put things to the back burner, and then in 2017 it was the first time I really made an inroad in the professional game. I had a first full season, things went well, and I was on cloud nine. I made my first class 100, my first list day 100. And then after that real big high became a big low afterwards when the season finished. It's like, well, what now? You've kind of starting to achieve what you want to achieve. It wasn't as exciting or as great as you thought it was going to be. So it's like, what have you been working for your whole life? And it kind of, that then becomes sort of almost like an existential crisis where you think, well, if this is not as great as I thought it was going to be, what have I been doing for 23 years, planning for this? And I went to Australia again, and again, just having been away from home, so I had my girlfriend at the time then, being away from her, I spent a lot of time by yourself, you have a lot of dark thoughts. And then the 2019 season came when I found myself out of this team, out of favour with the coach, and things went south quickly again. So
it sounds like rumination has been definitely a barrier for you. Is that something you experience out on the pitch as well when you're batting, or have you got a different headspace when you're in the game compared to when you're outside of the game?
I did. It massively affected me. I can remember, because I'm one of those people as well, I want to be liked, I don't like being judged. And when things are going badly, you start reading comments about yourself on social media. And I can remember reading so many people sending me messages saying like you're rubbish, or getting direct messages, or even like you'd then go I'd look on Durham's Instagram page or Facebook page looking for bad comments about yourself. Almost become like an addiction. And then that would feed into you. Before you go out to bat, I'd be thinking, oh, what's so and so going to say if I get no runs today? And you'd be sat there waiting to go out and play and feel physically sick. Which was never a nice feeling. Now I've got to a place now where it's cricket's, I love cricket, I love playing cricket, and I don't have those worries anymore. If I do badly, I just park it and not think about that as much. I don't worry about other people's opinions about my game, because I feel like I've been around enough now to know there's going to be a lot of good days, but probably more bad days as well.
100%, and that must have been really challenging, especially when if you're at home and you feel like even your home crowd is against you. That must really, really play on your mind, especially when it does feel so individual and lonely in the middle at times.
And it's like I said before as well, like Durham is like family to me, it's like everything. So to have that family sort of turn on you and berate you for not performing, it's not like through lack of effort. I always give 100% every time I go out and play for Durham, but it was just at a time when I probably wasn't good enough, and I wasn't in a good enough space to be able to perform. There was a lot of things going on that was clouding judgment and clouding my ability to go out and perform. So this was always a safe space for me, and suddenly this now became somewhere where I feared as well. So coming to training was always like become a challenge. Playing games become a challenge, and then going home and being home alone because your girlfriend's away as well then becomes a challenge. So it was just a tough time.
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned that during this period that you underwent therapy, and you said that you felt like it got worse before it got better. Obviously during this time you're still trying to come to training, you're still, trying to get back into the side. How did you manage this like emotional drain of balancing your personal and like performance problems together?
Yeah, probably not very well now I look back at it. You almost become like a brilliant actor because you put a face on when you come to training. You try and act like everything's okay, which is exhausting in itself. So you almost putting this face on for your teammates and friends, and then trying to go about training. And by that point, I'd almost gone past the point of caring, like how my session went. I would still try and improve and try and get better, but if things didn't happen, I wasn't really that fussed. I was just wanting to make sure I seemed okay to everyone so I could get out of training and go home.
Yeah.
And then you just crash because I've been putting on this face that I'm fine.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I'm saying luckily, but I wasn't in the team anymore, so I was in the second team. So you kind of out of sight, out of mind a little bit. And I still wasn't performing in the second team, so there was sort of no danger of me ever getting back into the first team at this point. But it was coming towards the back end of the season. So in my head, it was just like, this year is almost a write-off now. I'm now getting help to get better, so that's basically one step. Cricket's now what it is. And you had another year on the contract, so I thought, let's just get through the season. A lot can change in 6 months. And let's see where we are. But it's like I'd almost thought, if I don't get any better, or if I'm not enjoying cricket like the way I am, then when this contract runs out, I'll retire and see if there's another calling for me in life.
And obviously retiring was a clear reality to you at that point. But was cricket still the ultimate goal, or did it become more of a focus for survival during that time?
Yeah, it became a point for survival, because for me as well, I didn't have anything to fall back on at this point. So I didn't know what, even though I thought retirement was a genuine option, I didn't know what I would do if I did retire. But in the back of my mind, cricket was still the ultimate goal, because there was still that little boy with a dream of playing professional cricket that I kind of wanted to do him justice. And probably where I let myself down in terms of mentally is probably what helped me as well, where you have that never give up attitude. So even though it was causing me a lot of misery, I still thought, I'm not going to give up on this. I'm going to still try and do what I can to see if there's life in this still. And luckily for me there was, because like I say, I'm still here now and still playing. But there was a real point in my career where there was a crossroads whether do I just retire and find something else, or do I just give it one last crack and throw caution to the wind? Yeah.
And one of the things that you have said in the past was New Zealand being a really important mental reset for you. How did that help improve your confidence and mental well-being at this point?
So that was, again, a really tricky point for me, because it was when I'd been in therapy for probably 3 or 4 months at this point.
Okay.
And the coach who I'd fallen out of favour with suggested I go to New Zealand to play, because I hadn't played much cricket at all because I went out the side. And when you're sort of struggling mentally and you get told that you go to the other side of the world for 6 months, it kind of scared me massively. And I really didn't want to go, but I thought, again, if I still want to have a career in cricket, then I'm going to have to try and do what the coaches want to sort of give myself that best opportunity. And if I'd probably sat down and had a conversation with him and said, look, I'm in a bad place, I can't go, he would have said, yeah, no worries, like, don't do it to yourself. But I kind of internalised everything and thought, well, this is what he wants me to do, this is what I need to do. I'm going to have to suck it up and go over. And it was such a daunting thing to do, because I was, at this point, I'd struggled to leave the house. I was basically isolating myself from everyone. And I was on pretty strong medication to try and numb some dark feelings. But now I look back at it, going out there was the best thing I've ever done, because I went out to a place where no one knew who I was, no one knew what the struggles I've been through, no one knew how bad I was doing in cricket. Everyone just saw me as another person who's come to a cricket club. I stayed with a family who were amazing. They couldn't have done any more for me. I had a son who was my age, who was sort of in between jobs, so I had someone to spend a lot of time with, so I wasn't having those moments on my own, and having sort of bad thoughts by myself. I started feeling better and better as weeks went on, and then my wife or girlfriend at the time flew out, and we had like the most amazing months travelling around New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then the back end of that season, cricket started going well again. Like
Yeah.
I was playing with a group that I thought this group cares about me as a person. They don't care about me as a cricketer. It was a group that I really enjoyed being around. I socialised with them a lot more.
Yeah.
And that kind of found a spark again, and performances started going up. I played really well towards that back end.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, cricket is something that I can give another crack at. And coming back home from that was like, right, well, come on, let's just give it one last big push. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't. But let's just give it a real good go and don't give up.
Yeah. And how do you feel like that camaraderie helped with your mental health? Do you feel like being around people and really good environments, positive environments for you, helps you open up and face your fears more? Or was it just more a sense of comfort and, you know, like relief during those times?
It's an interesting one because still now, given the choice, I'd probably rather be. I'm quite introverted, so I'd probably still rather be alone.
Yeah.
Which is I know it's probably the worst thing for me.
Yeah.
So being in that environment where I stayed with a family, I was with a lad my own age who had his friends.
Yeah.
So I was almost kind of forced into social occasions all the time. Probably not through my own choice, but like I said, it was the best thing for me. And you become more comfortable with it. You grow in confidence. You make relationships with these people, and they become sort of good friends. And that's what helps you. And then you start to realise, well, I've got this group back home as well. I kind of rely on my friends and my family when I'm back home. So it's almost like that penny drop moment where you think, well, actually I've got a great support network around me.
Yeah.
Let's start to use that a bit more. Let's like ask for help from friends or talk to friends a bit more, and don't just isolate myself as much as I did. So it was just being forced into situations that I wouldn't put myself into, and then you realise, well, actually that's probably the best thing for me.
Yeah. Do you think that the coaching staff at the time like changed the environment and energy of the team so it felt like you weren't able to open up?
So when this coach came in, there was a core group of players that had sort of come through the academy and grew up together. So my team that I played in from 2016 to 2018 was lads that I'd played with since I was 17, 18, and we'd come through junior setups, academies, second team, and then playing the first team together. And we had a real good group. The club itself, we got relegated unfortunately in 2016 because of financial difficulties. So a lot of the senior players left. So this young group who had been in the academy together started playing together for a good few years.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like playing professional cricket with 10 of your mates was awesome. And then we didn't probably perform as well as we could have. We were always sort of average, slightly above average, but we were always pushing to get back into Division 1.
Okay.
So we made a change in the coaching staff, and the new coach came in and kind of wanted to get rid of that core group of players because he wanted to shake things up, which as a new coach coming in is probably what you would want to do to try and sort of get a different result from the team. So I found a lot of my friends then either got released or were dropped or moved on to different clubs.
Yeah.
So then a lot of new players come in, and you find yourself in an environment which is the same place, the same ground, it's the same change rooms, but now it's the people in it are a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's no longer lads in here that I've had relationships with for 10 years. It's now people I've known for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you're out of that team as well, and you kind of feel so isolated because that team that you're trying to get back into is not a team full of people that you know. It's almost like a group of strangers that have been pulled together. And then it's almost like, well, why do I want to push to get back into that team if there's not that camaraderie that I once had? So the whole dynamic of the squad and the feel of the club did change a lot. And it wasn't necessarily for worse, it was for me, because of what I was used to and what I'd grown up with. But I think that ultimately maybe set some good foundations in for the club, for the success we were going to have later on. Just that at the time for me was a real struggle, having not as many people around that I was used to.
Yeah. How have you found in your career, obviously now you've been involved in franchise setups and all around the world and nationally, how have you found change in environment affect your game? Do you think you find change positive or negative?
Good question. I think I find it has to be a positive because you get to share a dressing room with some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And for me, it's almost like it's still like a pinch me moment, because I still see myself as just a club cricketer from Cumbria who's managed to luckily make it this far, and then I get to share a dressing room with some of the world's best, and you get to see how they go about it. It's a really cool thing to see how the best train and how you compare with them. It's can only be a good thing, but the thing I struggle with is I still just internalise a lot. So you get around those big names and you kind of shut down a little bit, because you're still worried about people's opinions, even though I'm an old man now in the game. I'm still don't see myself as that really cemented person or real cemented player within a team. So I still feel like I'm trying to prove myself constantly. So you're always worried about being judged even by these players who are 7-8 years younger than you. But like I say, being able to see them perform and being able to see them train day in, day out is only a positive thing. It's just, it can be tricky sometimes, like not comparing yourself to them, because you've got to realise that they're the best in the world, or the best coming through, and I'm never going to be quite at that level. And even though you want to be, because you're competitive, it's just being able to find your lane and sticking to it, really.
And how have you, obviously you describe yourself as introverted, but is getting around people and asking about and understanding their strengths in their game a big part to your development? How do you work in a training environment to improve yourself?
Yeah, so I'm always introverted in terms of like big groups, but I always love sort of small interactions, one-on-one conversations and things. And I've got this thing now with cricket where, because I thought my time was coming to an end, the way I thought, if I was going to go out, I was going to go out on my terms, and I was going to try and become the best player I could. And how to do that? Well, I thought was just ask questions, just ask people what their opinions were on this, how do they do this. So I try and get as much information as I can from everyone. So if there's anyone training, if there's a different coach, I just try and ask opinions and see what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what do they do, can I apply that to my game? So going to those franchise tournaments is unbelievable, because I get to ask the best in the world, and like, how do you train, how do you find yourself in this situation? So I just try and pick the brains of anyone. And even now, like I do a bit of coaching myself, and you find yourself coaching an under 15 or under 14 kid, and you can ask them a question. Sometimes they say something and you go, oh, like that's pretty cool, I'm going to try that myself. Or you try and coach them, you tell them to do something, you say, well, I'm telling them to do that, do I do that myself? Probably not, right? I need to start doing that. And you kind of have that realisation of how you can improve yourself as a player. So I just wanted to give myself the best chance to improve, and I used to think, as a professional cricketer, you're supposed to know all the answers as a batter or as a fielder, whatever it is. But now I've realised that you're never going to know all the answers. You're still growing, you're still learning. So why not ask as many questions as you can? Why not get as much information as you can? See who you can learn off, because you can learn from anyone. You get any nugget here and there and apply it to your own game.
100%, and I feel like that's a real strength. And clearly in your in overcoming the barriers you have is like obviously reaching out and communicating. And communication is such a underrated skill. I think it's something that, you know, people can learn and develop in every area of their personal and professional lives through doing that.
Absolutely. And you said before as well, it's like a masculine trait to not ask for help, or it's so it's the same thing, like not to show a little bit of vulnerability. I'll happily say like I don't know how to face this bowler, or I'm really worried about my technique with this thing, and I can ask for help and then work through it. But I think when you're younger, you feel like you're supposed to know the answers, so you don't ask those questions, you don't ask for the help, you just try and deal with it yourself, which is why I think you see a lot of young players who find themselves struggling, because they probably know what they're struggling with, but they're too scared to go and say, well, this is my problem, can you help me work through it?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously you said in the past, re-finding that spark for cricket was, and communicating and getting to know your areas for development was a big thing before Ryan Campbell came in. The media have described it as a rebirth in your career. What changed for you under Ryan's coaching style and environment in the 2023 season?
There was a lot of things actually. There was first of all, like my personal life was become a lot better. My wife left the army and was home constantly now, so I had that sort of stable barrier, like base at home. I could go home to her, and that could be my release from cricket. I could switch off, and I could just sort of do normal things with her, and we could sort of start building our life together, which was, I didn't realise was so key. We got a dog as well, which was probably the best thing we've ever done, because again, that gets me out and about. And that helped me sort of clear my head a lot more on a morning going for a walk, and an evening going for a walk with him. Was so good. And then Ryan came in, and basically he wanted to play this positive brand of cricket, which is all the flavour of the month at the minute everyone wants to do. And he basically said to me, look, I know you haven't played much in the last few years, but we're going to be attacking, and I want you to sort of drive that through the middle order, which I thought was great. I still haven't been out the side for 3 or 4 years. I still don't believe I'm going to make this team, but at least he's given me a little bit of direction, and he's shown that he wants me to play. So all I need to do now is give it a crack. And then I remember the first 3 or 4 games under him, I did okay, but I didn't do great. I got a couple of 30s, and sort of imposed myself a little bit, but didn't get that big score that I wanted. And there was a point where he probably could have easily dropped me again. I'd played probably 4 games, averaging maybe mid-20s. I hadn't quite nailed it, and I thought, well, he's given me a chance and I haven't taken it. I'm probably going to get dropped now. And then he sat me down and he said, look, you're playing exactly the way I want you to play. Like, that big score's coming around the corner. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. And suddenly that fear just melted away, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, well, I should be dropped now, but he's backing me. And it just so happened, it's almost one of those things you think you make up. But next game I go and get 100 against Gloucester, and that sort of kickstarts that whole season for me. And from then on it went really well. I think the following week I got my first T20 100, and then and then I got a couple more hundreds in the 4-day stuff, and it just went like through the roof. And it's all because of that point where I'm used to getting dropped, expecting to get dropped, and get told that I'm being backed, and it was just sort of, for me it was a breath of fresh air. And like I said, luckily I haven't really looked back since.
And do you think that he was almost like nurturing your natural game, or is that like being positive? Is that something you feel like you've more learned in the back end of your career, thinking, being in a more positive and strong mindset now?
I think he kind of just understands me as a person. Like, I always want to be positive as a cricketer. And being positive is not necessarily going out and scoring and run a ball or hitting loads of 4s and 6s. It's just having that intent to score. So even since I played under Ryan, I don't think my strike rate's been necessarily that high, but I've always looked to score. And one of the big things for me was, I can remember playing a game here, I got caught deep square trying to pull one, which has always been I'm a bit of a happy hooker, and I got caught a few times there. I was thinking, I've done it again, and he said, like, what are you doing? Hit it over him next time. And I remember thinking that's the first time anyone's ever said hit it over him, rather than saying, like, don't play it. So again, it just gave me that confidence to go out and just sort of play my natural game, and knowing that if I'm getting out being attacking, that's the way he wants me to play. If I'd have got out there trying to duck, or if I'd have gloved one trying to get out of the way, he would have been probably a lot more disappointed. So knowing I had that freedom and I was allowed to almost make mistakes just helped me grow as a player.
And I can imagine being actually seen as an individual and not just as a commodity of go out there and score runs or score quickly must have built your confidence as well.
Absolutely, and like he's publicly said as well that he saw me as a player that's been here for a while and was seen as a sort of an integral part of the squad. I'd like to see myself as someone who's quite good at helping young lads get better and bringing players into the squad and sort of gelling the group. So he said if I was someone that he could get on side, that would help him as a coach as well. But I think for me it was just how he helped me, because he made me feel so at ease. He allowed me to go and make mistakes, and he just kept saying, like, you're going to be my man, I'm going to back you, and that makes life as a cricketer so much easier, because it's a game. It is a game based on failure. You're going to get out every time you bat, and there's going to be times when you get out for a low score, there's going to be times when you get out for a decent score. And he was just saying, just keep playing the way you're playing, and that big score's going to come.
That's so lovely to hear, and it's really nice to have heard that you finally feel like you're being supported within the team, and actually your natural game is being encouraged and being seen as a positive. And I can imagine, like, just the mentality, just even like on the side before you go out to bat, you just feel naturally calmer.
And it's just the feel around the whole group, because everyone has the same license, so everyone's a bit more relaxed, and you kind of know that people are going to make mistakes, but as long as you back each other, like someone's going to perform at some point, someone's going to step up, and we're all in together. So there's no one person trying to play one way, one person trying to play another way. We're all sort of aligned in the same mentality, and we kind of understand that mistakes will be made. But we're all making them in the same way, and as long as we're learning from them and then getting better, then obviously going in the right direction.
Of course, yeah. And I can imagine that's really helped with team morale as well, and just like really clicking as a team.
Yeah,
and being as one.
And it was instant as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, he came in 2023,
Yeah.
And that season we played some really good cricket. We were outstanding. Like we got promoted with probably 4 games to go, and then we won the title with 3 games to go. So we were quite dominant that year, and it was a great environment to be in because we were all playing this free, fun cricket, and we were coming in with a lot of success as well. So that was a great time.
Yeah.
And then this year it was a bit more challenging. It didn't quite go to plan, which I guess is sport, but I still think that camaraderie is there, and we still have that same mindset. Just unfortunate that we just weren't good enough this year. But I've absolutely no doubt that we'll put that right next season and we'll be back in Division 1 the year after.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good that you're all on board together, and it's not just individuals playing for individuals, you're all playing for one team. So obviously we've spoken a lot about the white ball game, but you have mentioned that the red ball game has been something that has also been a focus in your career that you've wanted to be involved in. Where do you now stand with red ball cricket?
Yeah, I'm a traditionalist, so I love red ball, and I still think there's no greater feeling in cricket than winning a 4-day game, you know, because you've been out there and putting in some graft with your teammates, and sitting down at the end of day 4 knowing you've got to win is the best feeling. So for me, I just keep wanting to progress in 4-day cricket. I want to become as good as I can, and keep trying to contribute to wins for Durham. And like I said before, our goal is to be in Division 1, and I want us to get back in there and become a sort of a stable Division 1 team that's pushing the titles. And for me, that's just the only way I can do that is by scoring runs and hopefully trying to keep getting better.
Yeah, and how do you mentally manage the physical and mental loads of switching formats, travelling, match to match, like changes, like what's your mindset around that?
It's tricky, and it's probably something that's still evolving. Like it's nothing that you can I still think you've ever fully worked out, especially being up here because everywhere's so far away. You're always travelling miles, even after a T20 game. Like we played a game last year at Northampton, and we got back to the ground here at 4:30 in the morning. Having a day to recover and then play again. So there's still probably no correct way you can recover from travel or prepare yourself properly. But it's just doing the best that you can. For me now, I've realised that switching off from the game is the best way to prepare. Like you have so few rest days now that next game's upon you before you know it. So you've got to take your breaks when you get them. If you're constantly thinking about the next game, you probably eat yourself up. So. I feel like my game now is at an area where I can switch off from it for a few days and then have a day to prepare and then hopefully go out and perform. I always struggled switching between the formats because I thought, in T20 I'm trying to hit 4s and 6s. That's not what I want to do in 4-day cricket. Like I need to then change my technique completely. But all it is just a slight shift in mindset. The technique side of it's still pretty much the same, and that's something that I've just learned over time, which. Probably still not great at it because it is tricky going back and forth, but it's something I definitely feel I'm better at, and it's something that I don't now panic about. I think when you're younger you panic, or I'm not ready yet, or I'm not ready, but now what will be. Like one net session is not going to change how you play the next day, or one net session is not going to change your life, so just accept where you are and go and give yourself like the best chance.
Definitely. What are some coping strategies for switching off? Because obviously you've mentioned now you've got your dog. How have you picked up these coping strategies to switch off, and what are they for you? Yeah,
again, I guess that came from the help that I had with therapy, really. The big problem I had in my life, which my therapist said to me, was almost like if you imagine your life as building blocks, I basically had a tower of one block that was just cricket constantly, and that wasn't going to be very stable. So you need to build the foundations a little bit bigger and have more things going on in your life. So like I said before, luckily with my wife coming home and being back was something that helped me switch off. Getting the dog, being able to go out and about
Yeah.
and again and take me away from sitting on the sofa stewing on myself, and then basically reconnecting with friends and making efforts with my relationships is just all those things that get you away from cricket. And I stopped watching cricket as much. Because like I say, you're playing all day, you're training, and then you come back and then you're watching it, you're just constantly on, and that's what eats yourself up. So for me now, cricket is it's my job in a good way, that I turn up and I have a goal in training, I have a goal during the game, and I try and work on that and I try and get better. And then once I leave the ground, that's sort of finished, and I go back to my family and then sort of live a normal life and try and sort of do things that I enjoy away from cricket, and things that make me happy.
Yeah, and how do you balance your interpersonal relationships within the team? Because I can imagine training and playing together like 24/7, week to week, can be suffocating at times. Like, how do you balance those friendships and relationships?
It tests you at times.
Yeah.
Like when you get in the middle of a season and you've been around everyone for weeks on end, and you've been travelling up and down the country, and people are starting to get tired and might not be performing as well, so people get a bit cranky. It can be tough. But you've almost just got to address it a little bit and accept where you are. And you can some lads will say like, I'm just not feeling great at the minute, so I go, I'm not in a good space, and I try and take people out individually and speak to people in smaller groups and just see how everyone's doing. And there's times myself where I could be sick of the group and I want to isolate myself, and I do sometimes still need time on my own to recharge the batteries. But you do get like sort of a couple of days off where you go away and you recharge yourself and you're excited to go back and see the group again. But you've just got to find a way to deal with different people, because you've got different personalities. People deal with the season differently, so it is interesting when you get to sort of July, August time, the back end of a season, to see how the dynamic of a group does change. Because it tests you. But I think, especially up here, we're a friendly group of people. People are quite forgiving and quite understanding, so we do try and work together and try and help each other through sort of tougher periods. But it's not easy.
Yeah, I can imagine, and especially with, like you said earlier, all the travel you do, like, I'm sure you get to the stage in the season where you feel like you're living on top of each other.
And people have like little habits that you'd never notice, but as soon as you're tired, you start to notice these habits and they start to annoy you. And you've got to bite your tongue, because you realise like people are just going about their own business, people are trying to live their life, but you get so frustrated at them. But at the end of the day, it's like we are all one team. Like it's all cliche stuff, but you've got to do what you can to basically knock the head off and then try and go out and play as well as you can and win games of cricket. And then you have like I say, you get to the end of the season, you know you're going to have a break from everyone. You have a month when everyone goes off and does their own thing. So then you get excited to see everyone again. So it's
like
it's
a
good.
proper sibling relationship.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. You love to hate them. That's the thing.
Obviously, you're on the road a lot during the season. Have you got any travel routines or habits that help you stay grounded when moving between formats or leagues or just games?
Nothing really. I suppose here we're obviously on the bus a lot, so we're travelling up and down, and there's lots of hours sort of trying to find a way to kill time. We're quite a social group, so we'll play cards at the back of the bus. That's something that sort of keeps you ticking over. When you're going overseas, that can be a little bit trickier, especially with groups that you don't know as well. Trying to find a way to kill time, it's usually Netflix or something along those lines. But a lot for me as well is one of my ways is reconnecting back home. I try and talk to my wife as much as I can, checking how she's doing, see how the dog's doing. And then you do find one or two people you can spend time with and kill a day with. So again, that's probably something I'm still trying to work out. I'm not a golfer as well, so cricket's now cricket's become secondary to a lot of people. Golf comes first, and that's not me. So sometimes you get into a group and on a day off they'll all go off and play golf, and then it's like, how do you fill a day now? Which is something I'm still trying to work out. But it's fun. I like going to cities and exploring and finding a nice coffee shop and seeing what you can do there. But that can get a bit lonely at times if there's no one else to do it with. But there's always one or two. So that's fine. But sometimes you've got to count your blessings and realise how lucky you are getting to travel to all these places and seeing all these cool cities. So that's usually my thing now.
Nice. What's your go-to coffee order?
Oh, flat white, standard. I think every cricketer in the country just orders a flat white. Flat white and golf is what everyone seems to love, but I'm just the coffee for me.
Just the coffee.
Yeah.
Just to round off the interview, thank you so much for your time today. Now you've been through all these ups and downs, how do you view your relationship with cricket and mental health today?
Good question. So cricket, I absolutely love it. It's given me so much in life. It's took me all around the world. I've been to see some of the most amazing places. I got to meet my wife through cricket. Like sort of the home I built here is all because of cricket. So I absolutely love it, and I can hope to continue in cricket one way or another once I finish playing, whether that be coaching or not. And then with mental health, although it was probably the worst period of my life, I'm sort of almost glad it happened now. I can look back at it and say, well, I'm a different person because of it, but I've learned from it, and I know how now to be sort of as well as I can be. I know how to live day and day to not fall into that same trap as I used to. And ever since that's happened, I don't think I've ever been happier or healthier. I can sort of separate cricket and my personal life now, and I can just sort of feel like what I can perceive as a normal life. I can live a normal life and not worry about what someone's saying on social media or what I feel like I should be doing in the game. I can just separate that. So it was tricky, but I'm so glad it happened because it's made me probably a better person for it. And I'm not the same, and like I said earlier, I was always someone who was quite social as a youngster, and now I've got to realise that I'm not going to be that person anymore. I'm always going to be that introvert, but I've come to peace with that, and I'm happy with who I am, and I'm happy with the sort of the person that I've become because of it. And I just hope now that I can try and help a few people along the way if I can, but try and basically be as good as cricketer as I can be and as good a person as I can be.
Yeah, and that must obviously provide you a lot of like inner peace and comfort that you've got to that point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm no longer striving to be a person that I feel like other people think I should be. I just be comfortable with who I am, and it might not be as exciting or as fulfilling as what other people might think it would be, but I'm really happy, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I've got my life now, and that's the way I want to live it. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to younger players who may be experiencing similar pressures, anxieties, or self-doubt?
Get help.
Yeah.
And that you might not necessarily be struggling in a really bad way. Just either if it's just a sports psychologist, not necessarily a clinical psychologist, anyone that you can talk to, he's going to help you massively. As cricketers, we spend hours and hours in the nets working on technique. But no one really spends that time working on the mental side of the game, and cricket is 90% mental at the end of the day. So if you can get on top of it before things get bad and work through strategies and work with a sports psych, that they can help you almost avoid those situations, and they can help you become a better cricketer. So why wouldn't you? It's never going to hinder you, it's never going to make you worse. And it might not be for you, but at least try it, and I just think get help at any stage. It'll honestly change your life.
Yeah. So one question that we ask all our guests at the end of the interview is, what's your extra cover? What's your go-to shield for all the anxieties that you've discussed today?
It has to be my wife. Yeah, she's the one that any issues, any troubles, are just she's my safe space, and she's the one that obviously she's now pretty much my personal psychologist, because she helps me through everything. So a lot of times she doesn't even know she's doing it. Just by her being there is the thing that helps me. So bit cheesy, but it's true.
No, that's really lovely, and it's so nice that obviously that she's home now and that you get to really ground and live your life together.
Yeah,
with your dog.
Yeah, exactly, it's been awesome. So long may it continue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it, and good luck for the season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, and thank you for watching the latest episode of Extra Cover. You can help support the fight against mental health and prevention and support for players by purchasing an Extra Cover t-shirt on our online store. The link will be in the description. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when another episode is released. Thank you so much.